All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my thoughts on the fight summary. I'll be sharing my fight summary on the fight that took place last night in the UFC between Sean O'Malley and Marlon Vera. So we saw last night in the world UFC in the main event of UFC 299. We saw Sean O'Malley successfully retain his bantamweight championship against Marlon Vera, and man, what a performance it was. I mean, to me, I have to give Sean O'Malley a letter grade of an A+ for his stellar performance that he had against Cheetah Vera. And the reason why I give it an A+, it was truly a masterclass performance. All 5 championship rounds, Sean O'Malley dismantled and dominated Marlon Vera. And man, it was a masterclass performance. One of the best masterclass performances I've seen in a championship fight in a very long time. But Sean O'Malley, all 5 championship rounds, he used his striking abilities to keep the fight standing. I thought that was going to be a key to victory for him to beat Marlon Vera. I said that last week on the podcast, but I think that him keeping the fight standing was his bread and butter. We all know that Sean O'Malley's striking ability, he's one of the best strikers that the UFC has to offer today. He also displayed great footwork in that fight against Marlon Vera, crushing knee strikes that he delivered in that fight with significant strikes, completely shut out Marlon Vera in 5 championship rounds. What a stellar performance that Sean O'Malley had. And Marlon Vera, I think the downfall of him losing this fight, he really couldn't get it going on the ground game. I thought that was going to be a key ingredient for him to defeat Sean O'Malley, was taking the fight to the ground, but he couldn't get that done. And it was a good performance by Sean O'Malley, keeping his distance, landing significant strikes. Really having Marlon Vera second guessing what to do next in all 5 of those championship rounds. But I thought that was his chance to Marlon Vera's chance to win that bantamweight championship was to out-wrestle and out-grapple Sean O'Malley. But he couldn't get him to the ground, didn't really have success at any point of that fight. I think he landed a few good clean shots on Sean O'Malley, but it wasn't really effective. He couldn't really capitalize on those moments. But man, Sean O'Malley had a great performance against Marlon Vera to successfully retain his bantamweight championship. So with that being said, what's next for Sean O'Malley? Now, Sean O'Malley has several big fights that could be lined up for him next for his next bantamweight championship defense. There's several choices in that division. He could fight Merab next. He could fight Corey Sandhagen next. He could have a rematch with Aljamain Sterling, depending on how Aljamain Sterling's performance is at UFC 300. I think we could see that rematch for the Bantamweight Championship in 2024. But I do not believe that Sean O'Malley should go after Ilia Topuria, the new featherweight champion in the UFC today. Why I say that? It's because I think UFC needs to make a rule that a champion needs to successfully have 3 to 4 successful championship defenses before they try to move up a division and become a 2-time world champion in 2 different weight classes, challenging another fighter. I think you need to take care of business in your own division before you move up a weight class and challenge the other champion at the respective weight class for their respective championship. I think Dana White needs to make a rule that any champion has to at least have 3 to 4 successful championship reigns in order to go after another championship and moving up a weight class to fight a new champion for their respective championship. I think that's how the rules should be in the UFC. So I think Sean O'Malley still has some work to do before he tries to move up to the featherweight division and fight Ilia Topuria next, because there's a lot of young, hungry contenders in the bantamweight division, and Sean O'Malley's only defended the bantamweight championship just once, and he successfully did it against Marlon Vera last night. But also, let me say this real quick before I move on from the segment. Shout out to Dustin Poirier for knocking out Benoit Saint-Denis in the co-main event of UFC 299 in the second round. And evidently, I think the timing of when Dustin Poirier knocked out Conor McGregor back in early 2021 was actually the same time that he knocked out Benoit Saint-Denis. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the knockout times were actually identical. But I really thought that Benoit Saint-Denis was going to be Dustin Poirier, and Dustin Poirier truly made me eat my words. But I think the lightweight division is going to be spectacular to watch in the UFC this year, because it's going to be interesting, because you have, depending on how UFC 300 plays out for Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira, there's a lot of competition in that lightweight division. Who could be the true number one contender to fight Islam Makhachev next for the lightweight championship? But I think Dustin Poirier is definitely in the conversation for his impressive knockout victory against Benoit Saint-Denis in the second round last night in the co-main event at UFC 299. But that's my thoughts on the Sean O'Malley and Marlon Vera fight. And those are my thoughts on Dustin Poirier officially being back in the conversation to become a lightweight contender in the UFC.